Welcome to round 3 of the ChampCar iRacing series for 2020. And again, the circus moves on this week. We are at VIR South with the Pontiac Solstice, one of the original rookie racing road cars on the iRacing service. It has served this community well, and now it continues to do so for this 60-minute race that we have coming up tonight. It's qualifying underway right now and has been for the past 55 minutes or so, a 1 hour qualifying session. And it's going to set the grid for our 1 hour race ahead of us. And it's heading into evening time right now out on circuit. The track is cooling off, it's getting quicker, and drivers are improving right to the end of this session. Alex Albert was on pole just a couple moments ago. He's now been eclipsed by the finest of margins by Bradley Daly. Max Lupfer also in the top 3 as it stands right now, and well, some of our previous winners this year, and indeed going back into the history of the ChampCar iRacing series, are also here. So you see Alex Albert there in second. DJ Alessandrini, what's his best time at the moment? It's only good enough for 13th. John D. Allen is in 8th for the grid right now. So there's definitely a strong turnout once again here. 31 drivers present. And they have, as I say, an hour of racing ahead of them here at VIR South. Round 3 of a 16-round championship. And for the points championship, we count your 12 best results. So you need to come out of the gate looking for some strong points hauls if that is your target. There is also a major prize up for grabs that will be raffled randomly amongst the drivers who complete 12 rounds. So that helps the strong turnout here. And every driver will be aiming to get to the finish. So they're counted as having a finish underneath their belt and get a step closer towards winning a free entry into the ChampCar Endurance Series for a team in 2021. It is very, very valuable indeed. And for a lot of these drivers, I recognize the names. They are presently already involved with ChampCar Endurance Series teams. So to have that with them, that prize, would certainly help a lot of the teams go racing out on the real race tracks of North America with ChampCar Endurance Series. Couple seconds left of qualifying, and I wonder who could be on a good lap to improve. Alex Albert thinks he might be able to improve towards pole position. He is just 0.003 of a second short at the moment. Had maybe a slightly tough run through turn 1 here at VIR South. A very, very challenging circuit, it must be said. Some undulating corners, some blind corners. You spend a lot of time in the middle sector scrubbing those front tires against the asphalt, trying to make this Pontiac Solstice turn. So Alex Albert will be hoping the cool conditions will be giving him lots of grip right now. Checkered flag is already out, so everyone on a lap is going to be able to finish it. No one is going to be able to start new qualifying laps right now. A couple corners left for Alex Albert. He's got South Bend. He's got Oak Tree remaining. The start-finish line at the South Pits on what would typically be the back straight. Alex Albert, not sure he's going to be able to improve. I think Bradley Daly has the pole position right now. Alex Albert pulls into the lane. A couple more cars out there still trying to improve, but I'm not seeing much change on the timing screen. So shortly, we'll be able to have a look at our qualifying grid. Couple of drivers still out on circuit. James Volak going to come towards the line. Shane Cameron is still on the lap. So too Alex Coffard. And everyone in our top 5 already parked up on pit lane. Volak not able to improve, it would seem. A couple other drivers in the field coming towards the line. Alex Coffard, Nicholas Love. Let's have a look. Nope, no improvement out of those drivers there. So we'll take a look at our starting grid. We're on the pole position. It's Bradley Daly with a 1 minute 19.989. As I say, just 0.003 of a second ahead of Alex Albert, who's now also going to start on the front row. Max Lupfer in third, Kevin Binkley in fourth. Good qualifying from him there. Chris DeShong with fifth, Brian Lockwood in sixth, Justin Hall seventh, John D. Allen, last season's runner-up, in eighth. He definitely took some wins though last season, so don't count him out from that this year. Brandon Schoen in ninth, Simon Foweather 10th, Paul Darling 11th, Hunter Manley for 12th, DJ Alessandrini going to start from 13th position. Matthew Thompson in 14th, John Hurley in 15th, and Alex Coffard in 16th. To start our grid, and we'll see how many other drivers start of the 31 that are available in the session. Going to be a full pace lap around VIR South here before we get underway. And as always in these 1 hour races, a pit stop required using a fixed setup with about 4 gallons of fuel in, and that's not enough to get you to the end. You'll have to pit at some point, and then the question becomes who takes tires, who takes only left side tires, who decides they don't need tires at all. But everyone will be taking fuel in this race. Most of our cars getting ready on the starting grid, and our very lovely Porsche pace car is going to lead them before Bradley Daly takes control of the field for the start of our race. So that cars are away and rolling now. Early evening session right now. It will continue to get darker throughout this race and finish in the darkness. Thankfully, these Pontiac Solstice little race cars are all equipped with a pretty decent set of headlights, but visibility is difficult in the day around a couple of these corners, particularly in the middle of the circuit here with some blind apexes, and don't get me started on South Bend or Oak Tree. So visibility will become a little bit of a premium later in the race. Well, here we go. One corner left before the pace car pulls in, and we get racing for round 3 of ChampCar iRacing Series in 2020. And Bradley Daly has the inside line through Oak Tree. Keeps the field behind him for the moment. Green flag is out. We are racing in a solid checkup on the leader's side, the inside towards turn 1. Big field. I see 28 cars out there right now heading towards turn 1. Alex Albert, middle of the road. It's got Max Lupfer to his inside, who has a pretty good jump. They are a little bit 3 wide in the background there with the number 14 car. Brian Lockwood thinking about diving it down the middle. Did not happen. So Bradley Daly still leads. Alex Albert is going to end up in second place there. But we've had some big gainers in the middle of the field. John Hurley and Alex Coffard have grabbed 2 spots on that start. What about through the middle of the course for the first time? Tough to go too wide through there, so that's definitely going to start checking up our field a little bit. Daly still in control. single file for the first 10 or so cars, and then double file in the middle of our field. Michael Derby going up another spot, goes up a further spot. So he's trying to move up from his qualifying. A couple drivers on the grass on the returning to the main circuit. Easily done. For the lead, though, Bradley Daly still has it, but has Alex Albert right at his bumper. They both come very hot into Oak Tree. Good exit out of there. Very critical with the horsepower and the gearbox in a car like this. It's difficult to pick up speed. You've got to absolutely maintain it off the corner. Looks like Brian Lockwood side by side with Kevin Binkley for 4th place. Lockwood has the inside coming into the hairpin at the end of the straight, and I think he's grabbed that position. So he's moved up into 4th there as first lap is completed, and our field have started just a little bit to drop into single file. Tight line through the infield from Bradley Daly, making himself difficult to pass, but struggling to break away. Albert looks to the inside and he throws his car down there to take the lead. Daly wide, 2 tires on the grass, loses a further spot to Max Lupfer. Here comes Lockwood. They are side by side. Lockwood has a better exit, but he'll be on the outside for South Bend here. He leaves space, and it's difficult when you get squeezed to the inside there. We'll now try and go around the outside of Oak Tree, but that is a difficult proposition. A little bit of check up at the front here, but Albert leads. Lupfer up into 2nd and Lockwood up into 3rd place. Rest of the field streaming through Oak Tree in the background. And all of our starting cars still running on the lead lap. Here comes Lockwood for 2nd place down the inside of Max Lupfer, and they make a little bit of contact there. Did Lupfer try and close the door? Lockwood was already down the inside. Tough to tell, and the brakes are a bit challenging in this car, a much older style of ABS than you'd typically expect on a modern race car, far more street tuned, and without some of the advances in electronics of the modern era. So bit of contact between 2nd and 3rd there, but Lockwood does gain the position. It almost helps Albert try and build a little bit of a breakaway. He is half a second clear of the rest of the field, where they are definitely in a train, line astern first, all the way down to 14th or so at the moment. Proving tough to make a breakaway here at VIR South in the Pontiac Solstice. So with close racing like this, some moves are definitely being made through the field. Brian Lockwood up 4 positions into 2nd, but further through the field, DJ Alessandrini, winner of round 1, has moved up from 13th to 10th. And a couple of other movers there. John D. Allen, another driver who's been successful in this championship in the past. We thought we'd expect to see him maybe move up a little bit. He's gone to 6th from 8th place. And then Christopher Flamion from 25th moves himself up into 21st. Side by side for 3rd place, though. And Bradley Daly, who's dropped back a little bit into the pack, is trying to make a move on Max Lupfer, was not able to quite do so. So your top 5 is Albert leading ahead of Lockwood, Lupfer, Daly, and Kevin Binkley. They come around to the most committed corner on this circuit once again, South Bend. And in these cars, it's almost just about flat out though, but towards Oak Tree, a difficult uphill braking zone through what's sort of a bit of a kink, and then the tight corner. Got to take a lot of curb there, but it's difficult to do that well. Someone all 4 tires on the grass on the exit of Oak Tree, and John D. Allen's having a massively tough time out on the grass there. No grip for him. Simon Foweather also with some dramas that I'm seeing, so he drops well down the order as well. I said you've got to carry as much speed as you can through that corner, but there's grass immediately on the exit there, so a couple drivers with some struggles trying to be fast through there. DJ Alessandrini takes another position, moving up on Paul Darling into the braking zone at the top of the hill there. A lot of positions dropped for John Hurley as well, so it's a lot of very close door-to-door racing out there that some of the drivers are struggling with. We have seen maybe a slightly excessive amount of door banging out there. Tight, twisty layout of VIR South, making it slightly challenging to execute a clean pass, though. My eyes on second place. Lutfer has a run at Brian Lockwood, who defends just a little bit into Oak Tree, has a big wiggle, loses out somewhat there. Lutfer's going to have a stronger run. He's going to have his car to the inside. What about Bradley Daly? He's got the run of them all. He's going to take it 3 wide. He's going to go to the far, far inside. And 3 wide for second place. Daly now has his nose in front, has the inside line, but a very compromised run into the first turn he is going to have. He'll just about grab that one, and 2 tires on the grass, 4 tires on the grass. Troubles for Brian Lockwood, who loses out a little bit there. The other 2 drivers involved also get a little bit on the grass, but that could have been much, much worse. 3 wide into that corner. Bradley Daly trying still to hold on to second place, going 2 wide with Lutfer, who squeezes him out. I think it's causing a bit of a check-up behind those guys. Kevin Binkley, Brian Lockwood, Justin Hall, Chris DeShong all in the picture as well. This is exactly what Alex Albert needs in the lead, is second place and third place going side by side, costing each other a little bit of time. Lutfer gets second place back. Daly slots into line in third. Kevin Binkley in fourth. Field comes through Oak Tree once again. And Alex Albert has a lead of 1.8 seconds. So now Lutfer definitely leading this train for second. Got Daly right behind, maybe applying a little bit of bump draft now. Alex Coffard becomes another one of the cars onto pit lane. In theory, it's possible to fuel the car and get home from here with the full size of the tank available, but starting with a limited amount of fuel. So would not count any of the guys out who have pitted from now. They could end up just finding a bit of clean air and doing better than some of these guys in the pack who are definitely losing a little bit of time the way they are battling each other. Patience, the key for some of our races. A lot of racing still to go. 50 minutes of time on the clock. A pit stop to be made for everyone at the front of our field. So those drivers to the tail of this train, definitely not that far away from the lead of the race. Can still do something. Pit earlier or save fuel and try and go longer. Think about what they might do for tires at their pit stop. Cool track, obviously, in the evening with the sun setting, but this car does respond well to a new set of tires on a circuit like this where you are turning all the time, putting heat and scrubbing your front tires. Albert's lead has come down just a little bit. Max Lutfer's attempt to follow him cut a bit of time out of him in some places. He is relatively steady though. Lutfer now leading a field that has calmed down a little bit. And Sean D. Allen, the caboose on the back of the train at the moment. Big mover in the field, Christopher Flamian in 16th. He's moved up 9 positions now. He's just taken a spot away from Peter Monin. So not the strongest qualifying out of Flamion, but he's moving up through the field and hopefully having fun doing so. Oh, contact second and third. A big dive from Bradley Daly down the inside of Max Lupfer costs both of them some time. And my goodness, Daly is going to drop a long way back on that one. There's 3 wide with Lupfer right now. Justin Hall in the middle, car on the outside, gets squeezed out. That really, really throws a huge spanner in the works of our top pack. Kevin Binkley now into second, with Brian Lockwood in third, and that was a bit messy from Daly, I think. So Alex Albert now with a lead of 3 seconds. Behind that, Brian Lockwood really pushing Kevin Binkley along, trying to create the breakaway that was very, very difficult to do initially. Bit of a wiggle for both of them through Oak Tree. So Bradley Daly now from what was third place, he's going to have to jump onto pit lane. He will be able to get the car repaired if he's got some problems, and he will be able to fuel that car to go to the end. So we'll see still what happens for Bradley Daly, but that was a bit unfortunate, that incident, him door-to-door with was Max Lupfer at the time. I see at least one side of the tyres getting changed for Bradley Daly. I'm seeing both side tyres getting changed. So that'll give him a bit of grip, a bit of performance right now. See if that is enough that it might bring him back into contention. Good little battle deep in the field. Matthew Thompson puts some tyres on the grass through Oak Tree, but Shane Cameron's not able to get through that time. Cameron, another one of those drivers moving up through the pack a little bit, sits in the slipstream that becomes rather powerful once you go uphill in this car. I assume it'd also be very powerful if you turned on the air conditioning, who knows. But Shane Cameron in the slipstream, closing up a little bit, but not close enough before the braking zone. It's going to take a very late apex, but ends up not fully closing in on Matthew Thompson. Well, these two guys fight. Chris Flamion, our big mover at the moment, is closing in on this as well. So it could be a little battle here in the middle of the pack, in the middle of our field, as Cameron tries to close up Thompson. So Thompson tries to close up Nicholas Love, and Christopher Flamion is in the back of the picture as well. So it's not just right up the front of the race where there's been a bit of battling going on, something for everyone. Oak Tree a bit wide from Matthew Thompson there, and that's going to compromise his speed down the straight. He pulls to the inside off the racing line. I don't know if that's a defensive maneuver, but Shane Cameron already has his nose in front now, has much more speed, and has the position cleared. So up one more spot for Shane Cameron. Now his job to pursue Nicholas Love here. Closer to the front of the field, the pursuing pack has Brian Lockwood at the helm, and then Kevin Binkley with his mirrors full of Pontiac headlights. DJ Alessandrini in the picture, Paul Darling, Max Lupfer. And a 4-second breakaway at the moment for Alex Albert. He sets a 1 minute 20.6, which the pursuing pack cannot match, and it extends on this lap. Lockwood in second, has a good battle behind him there. Alessandrini almost trying to force his way up the inside of Kevin Binkley. It's not close enough. And now loses out a little bit of time, has to defend from Paul Darling. Very, very difficult to make an overtake in the middle of the track here because of the blind corners, the constant change of direction. Max Lupfer gives a bit of Morse code to Paul Darling to remind him that he's there. So the field compresses like an accordion in the slow corners of the circuit. Alessandrini checks up a little bit in the middle of Oak Tree to try and set up a good exit onto the pit straight here. To see if that gives him any chance at making an overtake. They got a bit of traffic. Someone just out of the pit lane, I think, or just using the pit exit to let the lead pack by. Whoa, big slide from Lockwood right in front of the field. Checks up Binkley a little bit, and Alessandrini sees he might have an opportunity, but he's not going to get through this time. This guy's maybe using the downshift into second gear to try and rotate the car through the slow corners, and Lockwood just struggling and breaking the rears loose, which is a challenge to do in this car at the best of times. He's doing everything in his power to rotate the car and became a little too enthusiastic at that point. Paul Darling is right with DJ Alessandrini in fourth. Right, looking at his bumper through Oak Tree, and both of them take a lot of curb through the final apex and at the exit. So what's necessary to do to get a good run, carry as much speed as possible. Still a train, 2nd to 8th. Snakes its way down the pit straight. Oh, I think DJ Alessandrini has popped his motor. I heard damage to a car, and Alessandrini pulls off the circuit, and I think that Pontiac motor, that inline 4, has given up the ghost. He's made a bad downshift, unfortunately. And we'll see if he gets back out on track to complete at least 51% of the leader's laps to get scored. Yeah, some dramas for Alessandrini, the man who came out and won the first race of the season at Road Atlanta. So that begins to thin the pack for second place just a little bit. Lockwood almost getting away in second. Now Binkley in third, has Paul Darling and Max Lupfer right behind him. Chris DeShong keeping with the group as well there, and John D. Allen has now moved up into 7th, and I haven't seen him make a whole lot of passes there. But what he has done is just kept his nose clean, kept out of trouble. Gone with the pack. Lockwood closed the lead of Alex Albert by 3/10 on that lap, and behind, they're getting impatient for third. Darling moves to the inside of Binkley at the hairpin, gets the spot. Now Max Lupfer thinks about following likewise, but it's going to be difficult for him to do through the infield if The other driver has the inside line to that corner over the blind crest. So Darling started 11th. It's now moved his way up to third. Contact between Binkley and Lutfer. I'm going to have another look at that, I think. Through the infield, Binkley gets checked up a little bit, leaves a lane open to the inside that Lutfer puts his nose into, and Binkley gives him space. And I think Lutfer pushes just a little wide through the middle of the corner there. Contact made between the two, and it's a shame because it costs both of those guys quite a bit of time. Binkley might even have some damage on that car because he's dropping back and he's heading for pit entry. It's a shame for Binkley. Lutfer also on the lane. Looking at Shane Cameron, Christopher Flamion. Flamion up 15 positions from where he started now that they've gained a couple from the door banging and incidents in the top 10. So Cameron in ninth, been working his way up the field, but not as fast as Christopher Flamion has been making his way up the field. They now meet in the middle, as it were, for what is now going to be ninth place. With eighth place, Michael Derby just up the road from them. Paul Darling went for a spin in the infield, basically all by himself. So he carries on, no damage to the car, but lost a bit of time. Cameron, all four tyres in the grassy stuff on the exit of Oak Tree right now. Flamion then closing up. Is he close enough to make a move up the top of the hill? Still closing. Looks to the inside. And the two go side by side into the corner. And I'd have to say it looks like Flamion's got that one. So pressure on, saw a mistake, seized the opportunity from Christopher Flamion. Whoa, bit of side-by-side behind them. Peter Monin makes contact with Nicholas Love, and John Hurley is also involved there. So three cars pinballing around in the infield. It all starts, Nicholas Love runs onto the grass, spears across and hits Monin, and Hurley gets caught up in it as well. So Nicholas Love admitting his fault there. Coming into the corner a bit too hot, pushing wide, and then sliding across the grass into Peter Monin, who was otherwise uninvolved. So shame there. All three cars appear to continue. Not sure how much damage will be carried by any of them. Most of those drivers deciding now to jump onto the pit road, and a little pit road it is here for VIR South. So Monin, Love, and Hurley all in the lane, and Nicholas Love, I think, has gone into the pit lane and not been able to find his pit box. That is, you'll have to go around one more time. Nicholas Love not prepared for where the lollipop was and where his crew was, and he's missed them in the lane, I think. So Shane Cameron, after being passed, is looking at getting it back somehow. through the oak tree. It's all about the exit. And they've got the 18 car as a little bit of traffic. Jay Safiniak wasn't able to take the start of the race, but he's out there scoring laps now, and it's still within the realm of possibility he could be scored as a classified finisher at this point. So he ends up between Flamion and Cameron. Safiniak, though, currently about 14 laps off the lead. Chris de Jong and John D. Allen are battling over third place at the moment. John D. Allen continuing his move up through the field as he does his best to stay away from incidents. So he's right in the wheel tracks of Chris de Jong at the moment. De Jong not making any aggressive defensive moves and gets a little bit of a bump draft from John D. Allen, who then doesn't move to the inside. So different lines through the hairpin, but no moves made there. A little bit before the halfway point of the race, but we've got a couple more drivers taking pit service. So I saw Michael Derby and Paul Darling come in. Some others that have done so recently. If those drivers are taking a new set of tyres, I guess now's probably the time to do it, where it'll give you a bit of an undercut on your competition. You'll have a couple of laps with a brand new set on while they're not going quite so fast. So there's a split of strategies in the field right now as we approach halfway. And that's the cars that have pitted and the cars that are yet to pit. Leading of all the cars that have pitted so far, Alex Coffard in 10th. Quite a short pit stop from him. I imagine it looks like fuel only and he didn't take any tyres. So see if maybe he drops back a little bit later in the race from that. But Paul Darling, Max Lupfer, Michael Derby, Kevin Binkley all have taken their final stop. All should be lapping pretty quickly with a new set of tyres. So we'll see where they end up in the picture. Cameron and Flamion have swapped places back, so Cameron's back in front there. Taking some different lines back onto the full course. Another difficult corner, a very sharp corner to try and make the car turn through. Both flat out over the crest at South Bend towards Oak Tree. Exit off Oak Tree is where we see a lot of the moves making. Cameron, all four tyres on the grass again, loses that spot he worked so hard to gain. And Flamion up into 7th. Shane Cameron in 8th stays out, but John D. Allen and Brandon Schoen from the top 10 both pit. So Allen, we saw biding his time in the traffic, now taking a pit stop. Bit of a long one for him, and he's going to rejoin right in the train. He comes through James Volak, Lee Mullerman, John D. Allen, though, looking like second of the cars that have pitted at the moment. There's a bit of contact between some of the cars in front of him. Got Paul Darling right behind, though, who has also pitted past halfway. So it's looking interesting for who has taken their pit stop at the correct time. Now, our leaders yet to pit, Alex Albert and Brian Lockwood. John D. Allen having some troubles with Lee Mullerman, who hasn't pitted yet. Paul Darling sneaks on past. So only about 8 cars at the moment that haven't pitted, and includes our leaders and James Volak, as Brian Lockwood now comes towards the lane to make what I'm about to say factually wrong. Scott Grinnell also yet to pit in 16th place. So we'll see if Lockwood triggers pit stops from the leaders, or at least from Alex Albert in the lead right now. So a good run out of Oak Tree for John D. Allen. It's going to net him that position back on Paul Darling. And he's got, who's that? Yet to pit James Volak in front of him. So that's holding him up. No, sorry, incorrect. The number 62 car is Andrew Shembry a lap down. So that's holding up John D. Allen a little bit. He's going to go around the outside to get on through. Now he's to the bumper of Paul Darling. So using the south configuration of VIR, really packing our field together. Lots of traffic, which is, dare I say, the full ChampCar experience. So Brian Lockwood is pitted, taken a set of tyres, and appears to still be the lead of all the cars that have made a surface. John D. Allen, door-to-door contact with Paul Darling, goes around. So John D. Allen trying to go around the outside at Oak Tree, finds himself facing the wrong way. Now he's looking for a gear, gets it rolling. That's cost him quite a bit of time there, getting back onto the circuit. Albert, your race leader, dodges pit entry for the 26th time. So he's going long as his strategy. Haven't seen a flying lap yet out of Brian Lockwood on a new set of tyres to know if he's a chance of undercutting Albert. But despite the track temperature staying about the same, lap times have dropped off a little bit. Most of our leaders have dropped close to 6 or 7 tenths of a second per lap on the tyres. They're not quite what they were at the start of the race. So given a couple of laps, the undercut could certainly work. though Lockwood, his first flying lap after his pit stop, matches the pace that Albert is doing at the moment. So Alex Albert's taking this opportunity for his pit stop. I see the jack going up on the left-hand side of the car. Fuel will be going in. And 19 seconds he's out and away, so a bit quicker than Brian Lockwood's pit stop. Albert is going to come out on circuit and is still the leading of all of the cars to have pitted. Only a few remain that haven't. It's the battle between Flamion and Cameron. Those two continue and haven't made a stop yet. So what were our leaders out and away from their pit stop? And Albert leads Lockwood by 7 seconds at the moment. Chris DeShong, Justin Hall, Christopher Flamion, Shane Cameron yet to pit. So this now, Alex Albert's for position with Shane Cameron, who is yet to pit. Albert, dare I say, a little bit faster, slightly better tyres, makes a little bit of contact with Shane Cameron, who is all 4 tyres off on the outside of Oak Tree. And I'm not sure how many times I've said that so far today. So DeShong, Hall, Flamion all onto pit lane. Shane Cameron follows them. So I think this is about as far as everyone's been able to go on fuel. It's now a mandatory pit stop for these guys. Looking up and down the lane to find their pit crew. Busy time on the lane for drivers in there at the moment. Cameron a very, very long time on the lane, so I don't know if he thought he needed to brim the tank in that car to get home. I'm not sure, but that's a pit stop for everyone in our field, and your top 10 looks like Alex Albert, Brian Lockwood, Alex Coffard, Paul Darling, Justin Hall, Chris DeShong, Brandon Schoen, Kevin Binkley, Max Lupfer, and Michael Derby in 10th leads an exciting little train ahead of Flamion, John D. Allen, and Bradley Daly. Derby's also got Peter Monin right in front of him for a bit of traffic. So that might check him up into his pursuing cars. Trying to take a wide line through Oak Tree. Everyone gets checked up there. John D. Allen, third in line, looking for a move. Is he maybe even going to bump draft Chris Flamion up the field here? Jay Sophia next stays all the way to driver's right. They go 3 wide down the pit straight. Oh, there's a bit of contact, and one of them is around Chris Flamion into the barrier. Jay Sophia maybe follows, and someone else entirely misses their braking zone. That is... whoa. So dramas for several of our competitors there. Michael Derby and Bradley Daly continue, but yeah, a lot of time lost for a couple of cars in there, and troubles for John D. Allen, who then missed his braking point. Three wide again. These guys can't get enough of it. Bradley Daly trying to go around the outside of Danny Davison, and Michael Derby isn't able to do it. Alex Albert's lead now 10 seconds ahead of Brian Lockwood in second. And Alex Coffard in third has a bit of a train with him as well there. So that's one of our battles at the moment, with Paul Darling, Justin Hall, and Chris DeShong in the mix. Coffard, I think, didn't take tyres. And he's got a couple cars behind him that look like they did. So see if he holds them off for the remainder of the race. Still 14 more laps. Got Paul Darling, Justin Hall, and Chris DeShong in the mix. And Hall and DeShong at the back of the train ought to have the best tyres. They're only 3 laps into their run after making their pit stop. So I imagine they've got a good set of fronts on the car to help it through some of these slow corners like Oak Tree. Big leap over the curbs for Hall. Darling also gets a good run at Coffard. Is his hopes of a podium going to evaporate here? He takes the middle of the racetrack, but Paul Darling says, I got the speed, I'm going to the inside. So perfectly door to door there as they approach braking zone. Darling is down the inside, and I think he's got the spot. So now Coffard comes under pressure as well from Justin Hall. And Chris DeShong is in the picture as well, a little bit further back. So Coffard definitely under a bit of pressure with guys behind with fresher tyres, including Chris DeShong, who was the fastest car on circuit on the last lap, so he's making good use of his. Line left open to the inside of Oak Tree. Hall puts his nose in and grabs the spot. What about DeShong next in line? Did he get a good run off Oak Tree? Looks like he might have. He's still going fast. So he follows right up the hill behind Alex Coffard. I'm not sure he's close enough for a move though. Could be proven wrong. No, he's going to have to wait at least a little longer. Daly and Derby have swapped positions. So Bradley Daly, our pole man, back up into 10th place. A little bit of damage on that car that he's carrying around at the moment. So Paul Darling, having gotten past Alex Coffard, hasn't fully cleared out. Still got Justin Hall following him. Coffard now in 5th. Chris DeShong right behind in 6th. 4 cars battling for the final spot on the podium at the moment. I think Darling has just enough of a gap to kind of be clear, but what about the 3 cars behind in their battle? Coffard still holds up DeShong. Another lap. Hall not quite close enough to attack Paul Darling, but trying for it side by side, 5th and 6th. Coffard's on the outside. Deschong has gotten to the inside, and I would think at that corner, if you're on the inside, you've got the position done. So Deschong does move up past Alex Coffard, now moves back to 6th. Justin Hall's really closing in on Paul Darling. Darling puts 2 tyres on the grass. Tough run there, and that lets Hall put his nose in front for 3rd place. They can go 2 wide through South Bend here, but then Hall has the inside for Oak Tree. And Deschong almost thinks about putting his nose up the inside there as well. Can't do it. Now Darling has a better run from Oak Tree though. Right up behind Justin Hall. Almost going to push him along right now towards the braking zone at turn 1 for the VIR South layout. Oh, Darling gets a hit from Chris Deschong. Hall also runs wide onto the grass in his own little different incident there. So Darling gets back into 3rd. Hall loses a spot, but just holds in front of Chris Deschong. So in 7th is Kevin Binkley, and he's got Max Lupfer absolutely charging in 8th, and they have a bit of trouble. Whoa, there is a massive, massive pile up there on the entry to Oak Tree. Jackson Johnson. A lot of damage on the car for Jackson Johnson, trying to stay a little bit out of the way. Isn't quite able to do so. Gets collected by Binkley on the far side of a blind corner. And several cars in there as well. So 11 minutes to go. Alex Albert in the lead. Brian Lockwood in 2nd, now 13 seconds back. And then a battle for 3rd that just will not quit. Paul Darling with Justin Hall. Chris Deschong, Alex Coffard drops back just a tiny bit on these guys. His tyres are probably making it difficult for him to keep pace. Paul goes very, very deep on the brakes. Is he going to push a bit wide? Deschong has a slightly better line there. Paul has to defend a little. And it's the brave or stupid man who makes a move in this little switchback in the center of the circuit. Tough place for an overtake. Alex Coffard just keeping tabs on this battle for 3rd as well, if anything happens to these guys. Darling a couple car lengths, and it's Hall in 4th and Deschong that are very, very close as they come through Oak Tree. Deschong trying to set up the run off the corner. Paul Darling is not able to do so. He's all four tires in the grass as well, so he loses a little bit of time for that. Kicks up some dust. Manages to keep just enough momentum that he's not going to come under too much pressure from the guys behind. Hall with De Jong right behind him in the last 10 minutes of the race. This guy's just biding their time a little bit. '12th place, Tom Ellison and Shane Cameron. Ellison pitted very, very early in this race. Cameron a little bit later and with a slightly long stop. So it's right behind Ellison. Not going to get through though. Or at least not this time. The tyres will be much newer for Cameron, I would think though. Third place though, Darling has to defend from Justin Hall. Hall's going to switch back for a later apex, but it's a challenge to make a pass anywhere where the drivers are right now. So Hall with another turn of pace, putting pressure on Darling in third. Oh, these guys have a bit of traffic there. Number 21. Who would that be? Bit of a wiggle out of, what was it, 31. Paul Darling gets sent around though as he tries to make his way through traffic. It was indeed the 21, which is Nicholas Love. So puts Darling back to 6th place. De Jong and Justin Hall still battle for third, and through all that, Chris De Jong got his way back up into third place. Not sure Justin Hall is going to be too keen to let him keep it for too long. Battle between Tom Ellison and Shane Cameron has just started catching up to the back of Matthew Thompson. So 3-car battle then forming up in 10th place. The guys come through Oak Tree Bend and then past the start-finish line and up the hill where the slipstream then starts to matter. The gear ratio in 4th means the car struggles to continue pulling up the hill, but is very, very much helped by following behind another car. So Ellison gets a whole lot closer to Matthew Thompson. Thompson has a bit of a moment in the middle of the corner, gathers it all up. That also helps Shane Cameron get in the picture. 3 cars battling for 10th. Don't know, was Ellison defending there, or was Cameron trying to take a look around the outside? Either way, it wasn't going to be a successful overtaking move. Number 62 of Andrew Shembry does a fantastic job staying out of the way of these guys dueling in what's about to be 5 minutes to go in this race. So Thompson with a bit of a throwback livery, I think, to some 80s Lancia rally cars. Certainly rather suave in the green and red. It could be of Alitalia. Still with Ellison right behind him, who hasn't closed a whole lot in the last lap. Still about the same distance back, not quite striking range. And Cameron staying with them too. Thompson parks the car in the middle of the corner. That's where Ellison seems to be faster, so Thompson doing what he can there. Staying a bit to the left-hand side of the circuit. He's not going to let Ellison dive down the inside in the infield here. The cut through that makes the south layout. Bit of traffic in front of them. They all check up through the corner. They got Jay Safianek in the number 18 car, who unfortunately missed the start. And Thompson dives down the inside and then checks up a little bit. So he's got Tom Ellison right at his bumper now. Guys are going to kind of go side by side. Ellison just finds a car width to the right-hand side of the circuit. And in these cars on this layout, you can basically go flat out there towards Oak Tree, where Ellison gets down the inside as Matthew Thompson goes a little deep. Will Shane Cameron have an opportunity to get back in the scrap? He's getting past Jay Safianek now. And into turn one, he closes a whole lot on the brakes, but can he find an apex and get back going again? He does. So the three are packed together closely as they ever have been. Ellison's going to defend the inside. He comes back onto the racing line, and in the checkup that Matthew Thompson has, he gets a bit of a tap from Shane Cameron. All three continue. That looked like it was Thompson rolling out of the throttle to let Ellison back onto the racing line. And Shane Cameron gives him just a little bit of Morse code. Cameron through into 11th there. I don't know what's the drama for Matthew Thompson, but he's dropped back a lot as well now, losing spots to Binkley and Brandon Schoen. Every possibility he might have run out of fuel? Not sure. That would seem unlikely. He stays out on track, but he's lost out a tiny bit there. Third place, Deschong, defending a little bit from Justin Hall. Takes the typical entry into Oak Tree. Looked like he was going to keep it a bit shallow initially. Gets the better run off Oak Tree, though, is what really matters for this position of third place. Hall, you have to say, about 2 car lengths back. He's going to close, but is he going to be able to make a move from the distance he is? Definitely gets a solid run up the hill here. Deschong occupying the middle of the road, knows he's under pressure with 2 laps to go. But Hall not able to make his way through, and this is a circuit where if you know how to defend, you probably can do it for quite a while against a faster car. So Deschong still just making it not possible for Hall to get around. Both of them miss the apex at the blind corner coming over the crest in the infield here. Hall probably just following the wheel tracks of the car in front, all you can do when that's your reference points. Alex Albert's about to see the white flag, so our race leader from pretty early got his breakaway going, and now it'll be 1 lap to go for him. 1 more tour of VIR South. Third and fourth, though, that battle is not going to give up. Deschong still defending from Justin Hall, who is ever more tempted to try and get through, and they make contact. Hall has gone in too deep, given a bit of a send to Chris Deschong. They both continue. Alex Coffard takes an opportunity to close up on these guys a little bit. on the final lap now. 1 hour fully expired, and Alex Albert is your leader with just a couple corners to go here. Last season's champion is going to break through for his first win of the 2020 season through Oak Tree or one last time. And checkered flag at the starter's stand. It's waved for Alex Albert. Round 3, VIR South, ChampCar iRacing Series, and the winner is Alex Albert. Tom Ellison and Shane Cameron swapping some positions for 10th, though. They've got one more corner to figure this out. Oh, no, they've got a couple more. I thought they were coming towards Oak Tree, which they're not. It's tough to tell in the dark sometimes. Ellison has the very defensive line through there. DeShong and Hall. DeShong holds on to third in that battle. Then got Alex Coffard, Max Lutfer further down, Paul Darling, Bradley Daly, Michael Derby, and now Ellison and Cameron battling for 10th here, but I'm just not sure Cameron is close enough to be able to make a move unless Ellison has a mistake through the Oak Tree, which is a difficult turn, a place where it is very, very possible to make a mistake. But I'm not sure he's going to make one. So the last couple of cars on the lead lap come towards the checkered flag. Tom Ellison holds on to a top 10 finish. So we'll look to our results now. And your first place man to make it 3 winners from 3 races in the 2020 season is Alex Albert. Brian Lockwood gets second place, and Chris DeShong holds on to third in his great little battle with Justin Hall. Alex Coffard gets fifth after a very early pit stop. Sixth for Max Loop, for Paul Darling in seventh, Bradley Daly in eighth, Michael Derby finishes in ninth, Tom Ellison and Shane Cameron very close there, 10th and 11th, and Brandon Schoen in 12th place. Kevin Binkley, last car on the lead lap, in 13th. 1 lap down goes Benjamin Shout, who started right at the back of the field but moves up to be qualified at 14th place there. So good run from him to stay, well, relatively out of trouble, I suppose is the way to say it. John Hurley in 15th, James Warlack in 16th, Lee Mullerman for Daring Greatly Racing in 17th, 18th place. Last season's runner-up and multiple-time race winner John D. Allen. So tough race in the pack for him. Nicholas Love in 19th, 20th, Peter Monin, and then further lap off the lead, Andrew Shembry, and then Matthew Thompson, who had some significant issues late in the race there, a little bit of contact with some of his competitors as well. Danny Robertson in 23rd, Scott Grinnell 24th, Christopher Flamion in 25th, Jay Safianek in 26th. And with our leaders completing 45 laps, half of that plus 1 lap is 23 laps required to be a classified finisher. So Jackson Johnson just sneaks in there with 28 laps completed, making our retirements DJ Alessandrini, Simon Foweather, and no starts from Hunter Manley or Jacob Hiller. Well, let's have a look and see who we got. Our race winner, Alex Albert. Alex, I'm not sure you thought you were going to get a win this early in the championship, but a clean race up front on a circuit that I think had a lot of traffic.
Yeah, really glad with the result. Tried to win all 3 sessions. Bradley was able to get me by 3 thousandths there in qualifying, so not quite a perfect weekend, but still a really great race, and good points to extend the points lead, and feels good to get back in victory lane. So yeah, just glad we had a really great race. Good field, a lot of cars, strong drivers. So yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Bit of strategy in this race. Certainly saw some drivers try and pit at halfway. What was your thinking? What did you end up doing?
Yeah, the gas took me farther than I anticipated. We made it past the halfway point. Um, I typically like to stay out until I run out of fuel, but I noticed that we were getting close to 20 minutes to go, and I had planned to take left side tires at the stop because we had enough time for it. So I, um, I just went ahead and pit. I was kind of behind a couple of I was starting to catch. I think it was Tom. So just wanted to get in and get back out and make sure I covered Brian Lockwood and was able to do that successfully.
I think the caliber of the competition at the front of the field initially was very, very tough. You know, we were all single file for several laps at the front, big train there. And what are you thinking at the start of the race there when, you know, you guys were moving along at the front and everyone was coming on with?
Yeah, I was I was honestly kind of worried. I was pushing hard there at the beginning to try to get the lead, build a gap, but I really wasn't able to get away like I wanted. So it was making it kind of tough. Luckily, those guys started racing and went side by side a little bit, and I was able to slip ahead and break the draft. And then after that, I just tried to lay down clean laps.
What did you think about the darkness, not the band, but the conditions? You know, starting a little bit dark and then almost complete darkness out there in the countryside by the end of the race. Are the headlights good enough on this car?
The headlights are amazing. I wish I knew which brand they were. I would buy some for our car. Um, it definitely gets dark here in the sim, but the headlights are amazing. Um, I really enjoyed it. As you may know, I'll be at the real life Champ Car race this weekend, and we'll be racing into the darkness. So the Sim Series. It's a lot of fun to compete and a lot of great prizes on offer, but it's also a great time to practice your skills and get ready for these real life events.
Well, congratulations, first of all, on that win there, Alex. Thank you for making the time to come chat with us. And I guess we'll be seeing a lot of you in Champ Car iRacing series this season, huh?
Hey, I certainly hope so. I hope this isn't. I hope this is a sign of things to come. Hopefully lots of podiums, maybe a few more wins this season.
Well, I try to maintain some facade of neutrality on this. You got the uh, things people should check out. Anything you need to plug before this weekend?
Yeah, I'd like to, I guess, plug HJ Motorsport 337. So that is our Instagram and Twitter addresses. Follow those for all the updates on what's going on this weekend. We'll be posting pictures and links to how to watch our in-car stream and follow the results uh, on the web. So if you can't be there in person, check us out online. And if you can be there in person, come and check us out. We'll be by the trailer with the big HJ on the side.
Thank you, Alex. And move on now. Man, second on debut in the Champ Car iRacing series. Uh, Tough out there in the traffic, Brian.
Yeah, a little bit. The traffic, for the most part, played really nice though, which was awesome to see in a series like this. And it did get crowded at more than a few moments. So very happy to finish second. Had a lot of fun.
Bit of a differing pit strategy from Alex, who came in a couple laps earlier. Were you just thinking the tires were starting to wear down, thought you'd get a bit of advantage with a new set, or you a bit of a lead foot?
Actually, neither. I was hoping to switch things up with a strategy change, and I was thinking, oh, I'm not catching him too quickly now, so maybe if I pit early and get a little bit better track position, I'll be able to close that gap. But unfortunately, it really didn't work out for me. I think I overfueled a little bit at the end. So after the pit stop, I was 7 seconds down or so, and then that was a race, really.
Well, you're scored complete in one round with 13. 13? Yes, 13 to go. We're going to see you in many more races this year if you can.
I hope so. I hope so. It's gonna be difficult to make some of these races. Of course, as you know, David, some of you watching may not know, I'm going to be participating in the Porsche Esports Super Cup, and that's going to be this year's priority. So I really enjoyed this series. So as long as I can run this without infringing on preparations for the Super Cup, I'll be in as many races as I can.
What do you think about street stock at Daytona, for example?
Sounds absolutely ridiculous. I'm in. I'm so in. That's going to be one of the most fun races of the calendar.
Well, I guess I hope we see you for a couple more races. Congratulations on this podium. Any last shout outs from you?
Yeah, just shout out to everybody at Racecraft Esports. As I already mentioned, we're going to be participating in the Super Cup, and we're going to be also doing the high level stuff like BMW 120, most of the special events. So watch out for us there. I think we're going to be the only possibly American-based team that's going to be in all those events. So make sure to watch out for us. Appreciate all the support.
Always make sure to watch out whenever you're driving. Thank you so much. And thank you everyone who's tuned in and watched round 3 of ChampCar iRacing series. We do hope to see you again soon. Lots more exciting races in this championship, a champion to crown later in the year, and some big valuable prizes to give away to our points winner, and also a randomly raffled driver who's completed 12 rounds of the championship. I've been David Haynes. Carl Smith Never Lift has done a fantastic job behind the cameras and pushing out the broadcast. We hope to see you again soon. Live on board with Team Huge Ass at VIR South Champ Car 12 Hour this weekend. Ought to be on this channel as well, so if you're not already, do subscribe. We hope we'll see you again soon. Good night.